What's up, everybody? This is going to be the third week of January 2024. I'm going to try to keep this video under 10 to 12 minutes long and try to touch upon a bunch of topics. First and foremost, a lot of people think I'm from the United States, that I'm from America. I am actually from Canada, and I'm not using DAT load board. I've used DAT in the past, but I am using LoadLink, which is the Canadian version of DAT. It's actually owned by DAT. But yeah, we're using LoadLink, which is it's a much more primitive load board than DAT, but it's what Canada has and it's what we use every day. So if you're using LoadLink, I don't think it's possible to survive strictly off of LoadLink. Like I know a lot of people just run the load board like the spot market and like they're able to make it off that. I don't think that's possible in Canada. Like we have direct customers, and then we're using LoadLink to get us around when we don't have direct customer freight. Because one thing a lot of new carriers should be aware of is a lot of people talk about obtaining direct shippers, but direct shippers, unless like they got some fire ass work, they're not going to keep you steady on one lane. Direct customers, shippers, they got work going everywhere, right? So unless you want to run the open board, that's how you're going to stick with one shipper, I guess. The other thing is carriers that run the open board. Open board is just a big headache, I find. It's especially if you want to hang on to drivers long term, you want to establish lanes, establish steady lanes, establish steady time off for people, and create somewhat of a regularity, because in trucking there's tons of irregularities, and there are some wild cards in the game, like truck drivers that'll run open board anywhere, anytime kind of thing. But majority of people have families, they have children, and as I've gotten older and been in this business, I've just learned that, you know what, stability is the number one thing I could offer myself or any other driver. Aside from that, getting into the LinkedIn post that caught some traction, I guess some brokers were upset about it, but my opinion on it is the load board is a place for brokers with available loads in hand to match with carriers that have available trucks in hand or trucks that are about to get empty, and it's freight matching, right? That's the purpose of a load board. I see a lot of brokers, a lot of non-asset people especially, they don't know the rates they're going to use or the rates they're going to run for, and they will just put that out on the load board, and then once you get talking to them, they'll try to email you like this fucking spreadsheet in an email, and then you're going to fill out like the spreadsheet for them, giving them all your rates. That shit makes no sense, because I've number one, I've done it for a whole month straight. I thought I would give this a shot, and not a single fucking broker got back to me. So it was just a waste of time. The second thing is when dispatchers are calling on loads, they're usually calling on loads because they have a truck in hand. So there's usually a driver somewhere burning diesel, especially on cold days like this. It's like minus 20 outside, it's snowing. The driver's going to be idling to run the heat, so they're burning diesel. A lot of our city guys are paid by the hour, so we're just paying people by the hour. So we're definitely not here to assist you in quoting some shit when fucking I got like $60-$70 an hour burning up, every hour. So no, I think that's just a ridiculous thing to do to carriers. In my opinion, I think broker authorities should only be issued to asset carriers who show financial stability, who show a good safety score, and who show a good track record of keeping their shit together on the road. And in terms of paying drivers and stuff, we have a lot of carriers in Canada that end up not paying their drivers. So I think your broker authority should be based on how well you perform as an asset carrier. If you start slipping as an asset carrier, broker carrier, or your broker authority gets revoked. If you're doing great as an asset carrier, FMCSA or whoever your governing authority is can offer you a broker authority. you know. That's how I think it should be done. It adds a bit of merit to it instead of someone with no assets. They go out, they get the bond in the States, and then they're just off to the races, fucking cold calling everybody under the sun, and then they are trying to build a parachute of rates on their way down, figuring it all out. Which in the process they are doing that, they're just fucking over every carrier that's on the load board, like me, just burning diesel, paying people to wait while they get a load or whatever. So it's a big waste of time, and it's unfair to carriers to do that. It's unfair to have to do that to carriers from brokers. Aside from that, I wanted to touch on the most important relationships you can have in this business as an asset carrier. Um, Obviously, broker carrier relationship is important. I'll touch on that after. But I think the first relationship you really want to look at, let's say you're somebody that's looking to get into this business, get a truck, get a trailer, or you're looking to grow your fleet with more trucks, more trailers. And a lot of people, it was popular when the economy was popping to get brand new trucks or lease brand new trucks. But now, obviously, with the downturn in the economy, people are turning back to like pre-emissions trucks or older used trucks, or just trucks that are a couple years old in general. The best relationship you can develop is one with a mechanic. One with a good, reputable, independent shop, not a dealership. I don't think any dealership is there for truck drivers or carriers or even the people that purchase trucks from them. They're like brand new. They're not there for anybody. They're just there to make a buck, right? I think if you end up buying like trailers, not so much because trailers they're generally pretty simple. In terms of it's just bearings, brakes, lights. In terms of trucks, you're looking at like motors. You gotta look at the internals. There's a lot of little parts that can end up costing you a ton of money. So the best thing you could do with trucks is get a PPI, pre-purchase inspection. I've gotten a ton of them done over the years. I've built a relationship with one mechanic. It's a father and son shop. I've been going to them for like 7 or 8 years, and any work I need done on the truck, whether it's big or small, if I can't do it myself, I just take it there. They know the only person that touches the truck is me and them. So it's the easiest way to go about it. You'll usually see, even when you take your car into a mechanic, every time you take your car to a mechanic, the last person that touched the car was a fucking idiot. That's what every mechanic says. So, and once you build these relationships with people, it'll even drive your expenses down in terms of repairs and maintenance. Because my shop knows, hey, I'm exclusive to them. So if there's small shit here and there that needs to be tied up, I get priority. And sometimes they'll just do it for free if it's something small. And then the big stuff, I get priority. I know, like, my truck's not going to be sitting out in their yard for like 2 or 3 days before it gets into the shop. Usually, I call them. They're like, okay, cool. You know what? Come at this time or come tomorrow. We're gonna make space in the shop and get your truck in right away. That's where you want to be with mechanics, because if you're just using all these mechanics on the highway, that's a good way to go broke. I know guys that are running steady lanes like Toronto to California, Toronto to the Midwest, and they still haven't established relationships with any mechanics on those routes. And if you're just gonna keep being a one-off customer for these mechanics, they're not gonna care about you either. So work on building relationships with good diesel technicians, roadside guys. It doesn't hurt. It always pays off in the end. Always, always. I have mobile guys in my area. I have random trucking companies too that'll call. And I'd be like, hey man, do you know any like repair guys in this area? Because I live in a very rural area, but there's a lot of farms and stuff people pick up from. And I've had to give random carriers numbers to my mobile guys in this area. That's just the reality of it. You got to build good relationships with mechanics to be able to survive in the asset world. As for broker carrier relationships, I talk a lot of shit about brokers. I don't broker as much freight as I should. I just, right now in the market, it's not a good time to be chasing customers. Once it picks up, I'll pick up more on it. But There's too many non-asset people in the market that are just going around fucking around with rates, lowballing still, not paying any accessorials. So it's not worth my time to chase these customers when fucking you got brokers that won't even pay attention, and that's their selling point to the customer. Like my rates are high, and I pay all the detention, layovers, whatever. I pay carriers what I would charge as an asset carrier to do the load. You know, so I don't try to go around and rip people off. You know, and I tell people too, like people that want us to haul their freight, direct customers. Okay, if you want me to broker it out, there's 15-20% on top, sometimes 30% on top, depending on how hectic some of these loads are. Um, and as many shitty brokers and as many pieces of shit as there are out there in the market, there are not just as many, but a little less good brokers out there. And you just have to take the time to find them and nurture those relationships because in Canada, I don't think you can survive off just a load board or just a direct customer or just a broker. It's got to be a combination of existing brokers in your network, a couple direct customers, and then some stuff off the load board where you're bringing in new brokers. That's how I think. That's what I think the recipe for success in Canada is. I can't speak for the U.S. because I'm not doing that. Um, and trust me when I say there are amazing brokers out there. There are very good brokers out there that are hardworking people that understand this business, understand the hardships of asset carriers, and understand what truck drivers are going through on the road. So, uh, I work with some seriously amazing brokers, man. I work with one lady. For Christmas, she sent my dog a box of treats with our checks. I work with one guy that we make like Biden jokes with, and he like every couple of loads he'll send me $20, like $20 extra, and he'll be like, "Oh, it's $20 for the big guy, but it's just $20 for my kid." He sends money for my kid to buy candy, like nobody has to give a shit in this business that I have a kid or whatever, but if you run into good people, you become friends with them, you develop good relationships with them, people will go out of their way to, do little nice things for you. I send people cigars, people send me cigars. It's You will develop these relationships with people, and especially brokers, man. There's some badass brokers out there, some really cool people out there in the brokers world. You just have to take the time to find them, nurture those relationships, and take care of those people. And as a carrier, I think you should be setting up some dedicated lanes that you run every day. Not dedicated in terms of what other people give you, but establish lanes for yourself. Like you're running from Toronto to Ottawa, or let's say Windsor to Ottawa. That's your dedicated lane. You got a truck rounding on it every day, or every couple days, whatever. Once you set that schedule, I got brokers that know what lanes I run dedicated, and they know what my rates are. They never have to ask me. The loads never hit the load board. And right now, like first week of January, I've already booked into the end of January. So like when people call me for loads the day of, I can never cover them because we're always booking 3-4 days out, a week out. And none of these loads hit the load boards. The brokers already know what I charge. The brokers know, where I'm running. So I just get calls for, hey, can you cover this on XYZ day? Picking up here, going here, and, it needs to be delivered by this time. Can your trucks make it happen? And generally the answer is yes. If I have enough time, like in terms of like the trucks aren't booked out, then yeah, we can run it. The entire thing is establishing good lanes and letting your network know that these are the lanes you're running. Once people know you're running them every day, then the work just comes in. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for this video. It kind of ran a little long, but if you guys have questions or you guys want to comment or you guys want to roast me, whatever, I personally don't give a shit about other people's opinions. I'm just here to share mine. I know people get upset. They send me messages and stuff like saying I'm an asshole. Like, I don't care. I'm here to, give the knowledge I got, and if it can get Anybody with a truck even 1 mile ahead in their journey in this business, I'm happy with that, you know. And if there's people that want to do business with me, that's cool because I'm not coming off as a fake shady motherfucker. I'm fucking straight up person. This is who I really am. If you don't like this, that's on you. It's a you problem. This is how I operate. It's very straight up, transparent, easygoing. Don't treat me like a piece of shit. I won't treat you like a piece of shit. I treat everybody with respect. So that's just what it is. I think my kid wants me to go play outside in the snow, so that's what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna wrap this up, and you guys have a great week.